Hi, everybody. My name is Keith Fries. And a couple years ago, a gentleman by the name of Ben Robert put it out there that he wants to create a junior hockey league based in or around California, with the idea being that players that grew up in California, Nevada, Arizona, any of the surrounding U.S. Southwest states, if they grew up playing Pee Wee or Bantam, that if they were going to play juniors, this league would allow them the opportunity to not move so far away from home to do so. So I sent out a series of tweets. I've since deleted these tweets, but I sent out a series of tweets that admittedly seems like they fell on deaf ears, but I'm going to share them with you anyway because I think they're pretty good ideas. Anyway, so we'll start with this one, which says team and arena suggestions for the West Coast Hockey Sports and Entertainment's Junior League. Now, there was no name announced for this league, but that is the name of his organization or group, the West Coast Hockey Sports and Entertainment. So to start again with the teams, it's LA at the Toyota Arena until a new 3,000 or 4,000 seat arena is built. My name suggestion for that new 3,000, 4,000 seat arena would be something like the Toyota Pavilion, because there's already Toyota Sports Performance Center, which is where the Kings practice. Toyota Arena is the arena in Ontario, California, where the Reign play. So having a new arena kind of could easily be sponsored by Toyota. So again, I'm calling it the Toyota Pavilion. And that's where this new LA-based junior team would play. But San Jose's junior team would play in Tech CU Arena, where the Barracuda play. Orange County's team would play at Five Point Arena, which is at the Ducks practice facility. It's like a 2,500 seat arena. Las Vegas's junior team would play at the Dollar Loan Center, where the AHL Silver Knights play, and Lake Tahoe with the Tahoe Blue Center, which is a new arena that's opening up. I think it's like 4,000, 5,000 seats, and an ECHL team is going to be playing there. So there's enough room to host these junior teams going forward. So the next tweet I have here is the league name suggestions, or the league name suggestion, which is Pacific Ice Hockey Federation, or the PIHF. In the last tweet, I had like a +1. So it says the +1 below, rumored to be a team in Arizona, according to this article, possibly at the Findlay Toyota Center. But I'm going to kind of later elaborate on this, but I actually think they'd be wise to skip adding Arizona and just stick with 5 teams to start. Again, I'll get to that in a second. But for the draft for this junior league, I was thinking it could extend into 3 phases, with the first phase being for just Pacific born or Pacific raised players, and that would be the first 3 rounds. The second part of the draft would be the rest of the U.S. Or Canada, I guess, but the rest of the U.S. with 7 rounds. So we're through 10 rounds for those. And then the third phase of the draft would be an international draft with 3 rounds. So 13 rounds in total. I know what you're thinking. That's insane, but there would only be 5 teams. So it's really not that many players getting drafted. But it also allows for, the emphasis of Pacific born or Pacific raised players to get their first nod in terms of these teams going out and, sponsoring these players to stay at home. And then the second phase being kind of open to the U.S. and Canadian, North American players, and then finally having some international flavor. And then the team name suggestions I have is the Los Angeles Pride, the San Jose Technicians, the Orange County Pickers, the Vegas Bucking Bulls, the Lake Tahoe Emeralds, and the Arizona Copper Stars. Now, again, I was saying I probably would avoid adding Arizona, but I at least included them in case that was a route they wanted to go. But I'll kind of explain the names, or kind of why I chose them a little bit. But Los Angeles Pride, a pride is a group of lions. The Kings' kind of secondary or mascot animal is a lion. I thought that was kind of a nice little nod. The San Jose Technicians, it's a big market for technology, so technicians make sense. Orange County Pickers, because the original kind of industry or farming section of Orange County was picking oranges, so It kind of is that. Vegas bucking bulls. I'm not like all too familiar with all the sports that Vegas has to offer, but I do know that bull riding is a big draw out there. So again, Vegas bucking bulls. The Lake Tahoe Emeralds. There's Emerald Cove in Lake Tahoe, and the Arizona Copper Stars, because the Copper Stars are on the Arizona flag. So there you go. And I was trying to pick names that were kind of original and not like, oh, the Los Angeles, whatever, So I was trying to pick original names, and that kind of stood out a little bit. My recommendation would be just to start with the 5 teams like I was kind of alluding to, and that would be LA, San Jose, Orange County, Las Vegas, and Lake Tahoe. The 10-year plan would be extending into the North Pacific with 2 teams in Washington, 1 in Seattle for sure. The second one may be Tacoma or something like that. And then 2 teams in British Columbia and 1 team in Alberta, possibly from the BCHL or the AJHL, with the Penticton V's or the Brooks Bandits, etc. That would form your 10-team league. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the BCHL and AJHL have already started kind of merging, or some teams left one for the other, or something like that. So my point is that kind of happened after this tweet. You'll see like that they're dated, so October 13th, 2023. So what I'm saying is like, if some of these teams are jumping from one league to another, and if this league was profitable again in a 10-year plan, let's say the league started today, 2024, well, like by 2034 you could expand with those 5 other teams into being a 10-team league if it's profitable enough. Here's a look at the color palette for the different teams there. You can see on the screen they're mostly playing on NHL colors, or at least colors that are familiar with each team name or region, whatever. San Jose Technicians is kind of like a teal blue with gray as their secondary color. The Los Angeles Pride is kind of like a forum blue or purple with black as the secondary. The Orange County Pickers, I think, would be kind of cool if it was just orange and white. The Vegas Bucking Bulls, kind of like a red, yellow. The red is kind of like that Vegas Golden Knights Summerlin red, like Red Rock red. And then the yellow, not necessarily gold, but kind of a nice punch with the red. And then the Emeralds, of course, going green. I think that would look nice. So here is a kind of like quick logo design I did for the San Jose Technicians. It's not that great, I'll admit. But if you look closely, it kind of makes like an S, a J, and a T. So San Jose Technicians. It could be reworked, but the idea and concept is there. Here's a look at the Los Angeles Pride jersey concept that I made. It was kind of playing on the Florida Panthers with having the lion on the shoulder. This could definitely be reworked, but I do like the simplicity of it, just saying LA across the chest and then having the accent pieces of the lions elsewhere, so it's not staying too busy and it just kind of reads nice. Here's a look at the Vegas Bucking Bulls. I was just trying to have the V, so for Vegas, and then kind of have like a bull shape. It's a very elementary style design, but I actually kind of really like the simplicity of it. I don't think it got too busy or whatever, and this was kind of... I thought this was probably one of the better jersey concepts or jersey designs that I came up with for this idea. Next, you'll see the Lake Tahoe Emeralds. In the emerald design, if you kind of look close, there's an L and a T in there. It's kind of like loosely broken up with like little spaces, but it does have an L and a T for Lake Tahoe, so Lake Tahoe Emeralds. Again, these jersey concepts, whatever, could be certainly redone. The jersey logos could be redone, but I think the concepts are there. And then next, I've got the awards that would be handed out for this league, with the Guile Fielder Award being for the most valuable player of the year. Guile Fielder did play briefly in the NHL, but was mostly known for his professional career outside of the NHL. And as a professional hockey player, I think has like the fourth most points in professional hockey history or something like that. So, Guile Field Award for MVP of the year, the Teemu Selanne Award for Rookie of the Year. Teemu Selanne has actually already endorsed or supported Ben Robert with this endeavor. I believe Luc Robitaille has as well. So there actually are some big name former NHL players that are trying to help navigate this junior league into coming into existence. You've got the Marcel Dion Award for Forward of the Year, Rob Blake Award for Defenseman of the Year, the Jonathan Quick Award for Goaltender of the Year, Daryl Sutter Award for Coach of the Year, Dean Lombardi Award for General Manager of the Year, the Patrick Marleau Award for Sportsmanship, and the Shane Doan Award for Off-Ice Participation. So outside of that graphic, I added a couple more, which would be the Paul Correa Award for Perseverance, the Fred Cyclone Taylor Award for Playoff MVP, and the Frank Patrick Bull for League Championship Trophy. For any kind of like newer hockey fans that maybe knew most of those names, maybe didn't know a couple, Fred Cyclone Taylor was a player kind of around the turn of the century, and he was his day's Wayne Gretzky. So playoff MVP goes to that. And Frank Patrick, there were the Patrick brothers, and Frank Patrick was really instrumental in terms of bringing the game out to the West Coast and establishing, forward passes and, all these different nuances and parts of the game that we appreciate today really were his ideas. And so he would be the league championship trophy. So you would win the Frank Patrick Bowl if you're the winning team. And then all of that said, it's growing the game in California, it's growing the game in Nevada, etc. But it's also growing the ability to bring the NCAA with a Division I program out this way. Now, I had sent out this tweet, I think, prior to doing these junior hockey league tweets, but it still applies, which is that the NCAA needs to create a Pac D1 program to grow ice hockey on the West Coast. And so in the meantime, I think that they already could do that if you brought in the Sun Devils, the University of Alaska Anchorage, and the University of Alaska. Ooh, I'm blanking on the other town, but I'm sorry. But the two Alaskan NCAA programs and the Sun Devils are all independent teams last I checked. So the point is that you could have those three independent teams already kind of forming a new Pac division. And then you would bring over the Tigers and the Pioneers from the NCHC, and then you would bring over the Air Force from the Atlantic, because the Air Force is actually based, I believe, in Colorado, and they spend most of their games playing in the Atlantic, which is on the East Coast. So, make a quick 6-team Pac D1 program in the interim, and then having this junior league going and whatever, again, creating the Toyota Pavilion, that 3,000 to 4,000 seat arena, could maybe allow for UCLA or USC to get a D1 program. Having the Dollar Loan Center in Vegas, you could promote UNLV from the ACHA to D1, or you could do the same thing in Arizona. I know I kind of said to avoid Arizona, but like University of Arizona, I think it's the Wildcats. I think they are a top ACHA Division I program, so move them to NCAA Division I. So that's how you kind of look to grow the game, and by having these arenas or this culture or the junior hockey just growing, that's how you do that. So anyway, these were a collection of my ideas. Thank you for checking out this video. My name is Keith Freeze. Have a great one, everybody, and go Kings go.